let me love you.
Hey you guys, it's Midnight here back for another video, and today I wanted to talk about the final review for OnlyFriends. And just to give a short disclaimer, I have to say that my opinions about OnlyFriends from my previous video, which is the first impressions, have drastically changed. Just a little bit, a little bit, character wise. So yeah, let's get into it. So I want to start off with the characters. So first we have Mew. I think that Mew is the villain of the show. He masterminded everything. Apparently, Boston never tried to get Top to hook up with Mew. He ended up willingly going out with Top. And I personally, when I was watching this the first time around, I initially thought that that I didn't I don't like I thought that Boston was trying to get Mew to get with Top, but actually Mew actually willingly got with Top, and Boston of course was trying to get with Top, and he was trying to discourage Top from getting with Mew. So yeah, that was a mistake on my end that I made when I first started watching this. Then he even tried to control Ray, which I have noticed that in towards the end of the show, Mew is controlling, very much controlling. So he even tried to control Ray because he knew how much Ray liked him, but Ray had kissed him without his consent, furthering losing his control. Top and Ray are one of the same as they have the same attributes, but Mew knows that Ray likes sand. When it comes to the friend group, between Ray, Chum, and Boston, he also tries to have control since he doesn't like Boston because Boston can't seem to settle down with anyone. Also, Boston is very much blunt. It doesn't seem to listen to Mew, making him susceptible to Mew's control. And a great example of this is when Boston tells Chum that he is resigning. Chum decides to tell Boston that they would add him back to the school project. However, Mew tells her that they haven't decided on that. They haven't decided on that. To which Boston tells them that he would have rather still be friends with them. And this is all based off of the fact that Boston has slept with Chum's brother to her dismay, basically ruining their friendship because of that. So, yeah, and I have to say personally, I do not like Mew, but I have to say that he is a good written character because I didn't even I knew that there was something off about Mew, considering the fact that look at everybody around him. Like, he seems innocent, but yet again, look at the people that he chooses to associate himself with. So the fact that you don't even notice the fact that he's controlling, and it's very subtle to the fact that you don't even notice it until probably the end of the show, is chef kiss. Next is Ray. I like Ray's character. He's very much the sarcastic, chill one in the friend group, and this bleeds into his love life. I find it comical the way he acts when Sand was trying to move on after he was pursuing Mew. He was becoming rather overprotective on Sand, seeing that he couldn't see him with someone else. Not to mention, he is rather scary when he is jealous, seeing when Sand's ex Boeing came back into the picture shaking up the table. And I'm happy that he finally takes ownership of Sand, claiming him as his boyfriend. When it comes to the friend group, because he is an addict, everyone gets annoyed with him since he likes to get wasted, while everyone wants to have fun and do their own thing, leaving him to be a burden. Because he likes Mew, he always does everything for Mew, seeing that he is rich, and he even goes as far as to help Mew get back at Top. Which, by the way, I want to kind of do a disclaimer on that part, is that this was not a mutual agreement. Him like helping Mew, even as far as to help him get back at Todd, was not something that they both agreed to. He later on finds this out, which is why he again, because this is not the first time, this is the second time that he has kissed Mew unconsensually. But again, this is what leads him to figure out that this was not a mutual agreement that they both had. Next is Boston. Even though I like Boston as a character, he is rather a difficult character to just love. He is a more so a roller coaster of a character. One minute you like him, the next minute you don't. So again, I love, like, Boston is another character that, even though I like his character, I feel like he's also very well written, like to the T. So, first things first, when it comes to the friend group, Boston is barely present because he's very much busy with hooking up with other people. In the future, this leads to be a problem within the friend group. Yep. Like we already discussed, he slept with Chum's brother, so that became very much an issue. And then also, he slept with Top, who was pursuing Mew. So that also became a problem. And then he also likes Nick. So Nick also likes him. So that also becomes a problem for Nick, him and Nick. Last but not least, you have Chum. She's the only female friend in the group, and she's a lesbian, and she is dating April. Now, here's the thing. Chum, I do not like Chum at all, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I have, like, I'm very indifferent about her character very much. Now, going into like the highlights of the plot itself, the first thing I want to talk about is, I'm going to do this like couple by couple because it's more easier that way, instead of, it being like me talking about everything that happens within the show itself and it becoming very complicated. So, the first couple is Ray and Sand. So, after all the misunderstandings that Ray and Sand went through, they still managed to get through everything. The first thing that stuck out to me about their relationship was how Sand cared so much about Ray that he even convinced him to go to rehab. It was touching when Ray's father had to tell him that Sand cared so much about him that he declined his money offer and willingly tried to get Ray into rehab. The second thing is when Sand's ex Bowen came back trying to get back with him, and Ray was demanding that Sand made up his mind on who he wanted to be with and claim him as his boyfriend. Now, I know that a lot of people had an issue with the fact that Sand couldn't really speak up he couldn't speak up for himself about declining Bowen or whatever, and kind of reassuring Ray that he wants to be in this relationship with him. But I felt like the reason why he did not say anything, the reason why they made it to a point to not make sense say anything, is because to emphasize for Ray to say that he is serious with about Sand, because Ray was the one who was trying to pursue Mew. Sand knew that Ray was into Mew, so this is another way for us to see Ray being like, okay, Sand is my boyfriend, he is my boyfriend, and I'm taking ownership of it, and it is what it is. So I think that's where they were going with that. Next is Boston and Nick. I was very indifferent about their relationship. I wanted them to get together, but now I want them to separate. I agree with Nick's words in the end that Boston needs to be who he is and not pretend to be something that he is not. Similarly, I felt that Boston was just lying to himself about wanting Nick to be his boyfriend all the way up to his departure to New York. I just felt like it didn't make any sense since their relationship would be short-lived. Then on the other hand, I'm happy that in the end Nick chooses himself, and he listened to the advice that Sen gave him. In the end, we get to see how Nick and Sen's friendship blossoms even more. Moreover, it was rather satisfying seeing Boston's friendless and boyfriendless, seeing how he didn't live up to his promise to Nick, and Nick again chooses himself in the end. And again, I have to say that I understand that people are not happy with the ending that they chose for Boston, and that it's not like, even though he's by himself, it's not really a positive one. But again, I feel like people have to understand that Boston and Nick's relationship is basically, I would say, like 100% real. Like, how would I say this? I feel like we do need to apply in our real life that if you and someone else that you're in a relationship with or in a partnership with, if y'all do not agree on something and y'all don't want to live y'all lives, like if y'all want to live your life differently, then it is best for you guys to separate. If that be the case, like it's not healthy for you guys to be together because like based off of like I guess you would say like a fantasy. Like you should not nobody should have to sacrifice. If you guys want to if y'all don't agree with something, then it's best and y'all cannot like work it out, which in this situation Boston and Nick could not work this out. They could not work out the foundation of their relationship. So it's best that they separate. And Nick was the one to basically say that it was not it's a good idea that they separate. So I did see a lot of people basically like saying that Boston was not consistent and that it took it took him basically coming out of character for Nick to say, "Oh, hey, well, we should just separate because this is not working for the both of us and I don't want you to be something that you're not," which I disagree with. I think we're all, including myself, we're all human beings and we're not consistent with our lives. So I just feel like 100% this was realistic. I feel like the way that they went about Boston was very much realistic. And also the fact that Boston basically sleeping around and having an open relationship basically was something that both Mew and Chum basically shamed him for. So in today's society, I would also say people do shame open relationship. People do very much shame or think that it's morally wrong to be in an open relationship because most people do not know what an open relationship is and they don't know what it entails. So that's why I feel like Boston's whole like that's why I feel like that's the reason why Boston ended up the way that he ended up. It makes complete sense. So anyway, yeah, that's my whole opinion on that. Moving on, you have Mew and Top. I never expected for them to end up together in the end. However, I'm glad that everything between them were resolved. I'm glad that Mew and Top became great friends in the end with both San and Ray. And also, I was not expecting for Top to apologize to San for stealing Boeing away from him, which, I'll be honest, none of this was on my bingo card. uh Ray them becoming great friends with San and Ray was not on my bingo card, and also Top about apologizing to San for stealing Bowen, which I have my own opinion on that because I'm like, how can someone steal someone away from you? Like that has to be like a mutual agreement on that person's end. Like Bowen agreed, he decided to willingly be with Top. So that's my whole opinion on that. So yeah, but like I said, that was also not on my bingo card. So I was really surprised. And I have to say too, because I know in my first impressions, I did have an issue with Mew and Top because I feel like they were so boring. Like their whole thing got really dragged out. But I have to like really say that it got better. Like when Boston cheated on Nick with Top and Top cheated on Mew with Boston and that whole thing blew up, I just was like, okay, yes, like things are getting better. Like yes, things are happening. I loved it. That it got better. So that is what I have to say on that. And last but not least, you have Chum. I'm glad that in the end that she apologized to I'm glad that in the end that she apologized to Boston for accusing him of raping her brother, and she made an effort to invite him to their New Year's party even though Mew didn't want to relive their friendship. Now, again, this goes back to what I said before when I was talking about her character, that like I just really felt very much indifferent because of the way that she went about pretty much going about her friendship with Boston. Like, I don't know. It was really weird. I don't know. And again, like the way that she went about her situation with Boston and her brother. Like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. I just felt indifferent about it. That's all I want to say about her, pretty much. And I just feel like this whole situation kind of rubbed me the wrong way. and the way that a lot of people were like basically perceiving that whole situation. I honestly felt like low-key though, GMMTV could have went without that whole entire plot line. They could have just done without, because it was just so like this it was just so traumatic for me personally. So I just felt like they could have just done without that whole situation in the first place. But that's just me. So in conclusion, I have to say that honestly, this was like one of the best shows this year, like one of the best shows this year. So yeah, because I feel like this year was pretty much a bit dry this year. So hopefully next year would be a good year when it comes down to like BLs. And it's already being like, rumored that we're supposed to be having a season two with the way that it ended. So I really hope we do get a season two. I feel like this is one show that I would be like, yeah, we do need to have a season two, because I just want to see how everything, works out, if you know what I mean. And like I said before, like when it comes to shows like this is all my opinions. All of everything, all the videos that I do are my opinions. I do want people to go and actually watch the show for themselves. Like I said, comment and tell me how you felt about everything that happened in the show. Like, I'm all here for everything. So, and please keep it respectful as well. So, yeah, and if you're watching my video and you have not yet watched the show itself, again, please watch the show. It's just different. Like, you may perceive things different than what I took it as and stuff like that. And like I said, I want to hear your opinions and your thoughts and stuff like that. So if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe, and please hit that bell notification for more uploads from me. Bye.